Blessings and welcome everyone. Just a reminder before we begin. Your rising sign horoscope will give you additional clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope may show up, and your moon sign horoscope will give you the less prominent side story that'll also be playing out for this 2-week period. Remember, horoscopes serve best when observed, like a weather or traffic report. You have influence over all outcomes with your thoughts, actions, choices, and deeds. Use the information that presents to help you make the highest choices for the highest outcomes. If you wish to schedule any of my services or like access to more content via my Patreon, follow the links below or go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, Aries. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your first week of March 2021. However, this astrology we're going to be talking about is actually going to be in effect for 2 weeks, because we're going to be talking about that full moon in Virgo we just had on the 27th of February. But that goes beyond just this week. So just keep that in mind when we're looking at the astrology portion. The cards are for this 1 week, but the astrology goes on for 2. And this week, this full moon in Virgo is already really going to work for you. This full moon is actually what we just had in your 6th house of work, your reputation, and your schedule, the teams you work on, the teams you work with. And with this full moon in Virgo, what we're seeing is this massive clearing effect where there is going to be a transition that occurs or that is brought to a head so that everyone can actually get into the right space, the right schedule, working with the right people, the right customers. And what can happen over the course of this next 2 weeks is, yes, maybe there are going to be some big shifts and turns in your work and in your field. You're not working with the same people. You may be finding out transfer opportunities are available if you are looking for that yourself. Maybe a big schedule switch, going from days to nights or nights to days. Maybe even making a jump to a different department, a different division, a different campus. That's all open for you, but you're also going to be noticing that this is going to be occurring with others as well. This may even lead to some transitions or maybe even to some departures from some familiar patterns or services or faces that you're used to working with. However, again, because this is in the interest of a chapter advancement, a turn of a page, this is all going towards the positive. As we step onto your cards, you have the King of Wands upright as your spiritual theme of this week, your main story of this week, and this is all about onward and upwards for you. Because the King of Wands is giving this very strong sense of enforcement of evolution, enforcement away from, yes, familiar patterns, familiar routines, a departure and a movement away from those things, but into spaces that generate more value for you all across the board. When we have the King of Wands, we're getting a lot more attention, we're getting a lot more credit, recognition, and people are really going out of their way to propagate our good name. And you're going to be finding that throughout this week, you're going to be needing to keep an open mind, to be okay with being taken by the hand out of your own box. Because with this energy, what's happening is that you are getting promoted in so many ways and in so many different varieties of the word. And so moving on, we also see a transition coming up with work with the Death card in your material circumstances, right? Work, finances, your practical affairs as it relates to your living conditions, your living situation, all of that. Now, the Death card, is upright, and as I've said before many times, this is an end that we see coming. It's not a surprise unless somebody's burying their head in the sand. And I feel like, yeah, maybe you'll notice that in some other people, but with the Death card, we see a transition from a situation that has actually become stagnant, where we may have hit some kind of glass ceiling. And that King of Wands upright may be very much the one who is actually taking us from this glass ceiling kind of situation, whether it is a lateral move that has a bit of an incline, still making a bit more money, or still climbing a little bit more efficiently than where we were before, moving into a space where we are working with a higher caliber team, or maybe a more supportive and invested kind of customer base. The Death card is indicating a release that is coming in for you. It is something that is being offered, possibly being a bit insisted or pressured, but it is something that's taking you out of familiar territory for your own good. And for those of you looking for a new job or looking for a new source of revenue, there are things that are coming your way that are going to feel a bit alien. They're going to feel a bit strange, or maybe even like it would just never occurred to you before. You don't necessarily know how you can relate it to what you know about your field or your skills from the past. Entertain them regardless. As we get on to your communications, friends, maybe relatives, other people in your life, you have the Five of Cups in reverse, and you are getting something back that has been distanced from you, or maybe even closing a gap or closing a space-time gap between you and somebody that you really do care about. You still have a lot of love and affection for. I feel like this is mostly in the realm of the platonic, so friends and relatives. But this could, of course, extend maybe into love, depending on what's going on with your rising and your moon sign, right? You don't skip those. If you skip the beginning, well, I feel sorry for you because I told you about that. But with the Five of Cups reverse, what's happening is that you're getting a recovery. And something is coming back to maybe fill a void in your life. But I feel very strongly with this particular instance that this is actually a renewed opportunity to have a friendship or a family relationship come back on the table for you. And this could be across distances or across time, but the good news is that whatever the matter is, we have a chance to get back together now. For your challenge, well, your personal challenge, I guess you could say, is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. And this week, yeah, I get more of a warning from this, and not necessarily a warning of, anything dire, but really more of a warning to challenge you to avoid or maybe release any kind of habit, if you have one, when it comes to premature rejecting, or the tendency to maybe answer things with a no, to reject things before they show up, or reject things just because you might not necessarily feel familiar or feel acquainted with them. Because sometimes the things that we need to accept are there to expand us, expand our minds, expand our skills, expand our abilities, expand our abundance. And so, no, we're not going to know everything about it right away. Of course, get informed to make a healthy, informed decision. That's just common sense. But with the Six of Pentacles reverse, what I'm seeing here is your challenge is to not prematurely reject things that are going to be pulling you out of your box and comfort zone. Because sometimes, it is the isolation, it is the self-protection, it is the wall that we put up that keeps us from advancing. And if we self-impose that wall, we don't want to reject that which is helping us get out of something we trapped ourselves in. As we get on to your relationships with love and romance and partnerships, you have the Page of Swords upright. And even this one is all about the opportunity to engage in a completely different kind of romantic, maybe situation, sensibility. In fact, one of the things I'm seeing here is that a lot of you Aries people may be actually exploring a completely different relationship archetype than one you've ever had history with before, or maybe one that you and a partner have ever carried on before. And this could be something that also comes up, as an idea through a partner. Maybe it's time for the two of you to do it a little bit differently. And that's not necessarily uncommon, right? If you're in a long-term relationship with somebody, you're going to have 4 or 5 different types of dynamics and relationships with that person as you evolve. That's what keeps it healthy. So this might be a turning point of that kind that actually really stimulates the both of you in a new way. And for those of you that are actually looking for somebody new, the exploration of something that, again, takes you both out of maybe the home team advantage sort of sensibility with whatever type of relationship you want is also available. So, taking a walk on the wild side, having a little bit of culture shock can be a beautiful thing. So that's what I've got for you, Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.